Hey everyone, today we're going to tackle 3 of the most common and, let's be honest, most frustrating irregular verbs in Italian: bere, dire, and fare. But don't worry, by the end of this little explainer, you're going to see that they aren't nearly as random as they seem. We're actually going to crack the code. Okay, so first things first, just a quick heads up, this is an experimental AI video. Now, all the grammar content you're about to see has been checked and verified by a real human expert, so that's all good. But you might catch a few minor pronunciation errors here and there. So thanks for your patience as we try out some new ways to help you learn. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll uncover the secret rule for these verbs. Then we'll dive into bere, dire, and the absolute superstar verb, fare. After that, we'll see them all in a quick story, and then we'll wrap it up so it's your turn. Ready? Let's jump in. All right, section 1, the irregular rule. We're going to find the pattern in all that chaos. You know, irregular verbs can feel, well, just totally random. Like you're supposed to memorize this endless, impossible list. I get it, we've all been there. But what if I told you there's a secret, a hidden pattern that changes everything? Okay, check this out. Look closely. On the left, you've got your standard regular verb endings. On the right, the irregular ones. See it? They're almost identical. You've still got your O, your A, your EI, your IAMO. The endings are not the problem. The real trick, the so-called irregular part, is the stem, the beginning of the verb. That's the part that changes, and that is the code we are about to crack. Okay, let's dive into our first verb, bere, to drink. And stick with me because this one has a really cool connection to English that's going to make it stick in your brain for good. So, bere. It means to drink. Pretty straightforward. But here's the cool part. The word we use today, bere, is actually a shorter version of its old Latin root, which was bibere. And that little piece of history, that's the entire key to understanding how to use it. So look at this table. Instead of trying to make a stem out of bere, we use the stem from that old word I just mentioned, bev. And once you know that one little thing, it becomes completely predictable. Io bevo, tu bevi, lui beve, noi beviamo, voi bevete, loro bevono. The endings are the same ones you already know. See? Not so irregular anymore, is it? And here it is. This is the memory trick I promised you. That old stem, bev, where do you think the English word beverage comes from? Right here. So if you can remember beverage, you can remember how to conjugate bere. It's such a great little shortcut. Let's put it in a real sentence. Se ho sete, bevo una birra. If I'm thirsty, I drink a beer. Simple as that. And now you know why it's bevo and not something else. All right, next up is dire, which means to say. Now, we're going to talk about what you say versus how you speak, because this verb often gets mixed up with parlare. Let's clear that confusion up for good. So here we have dire, meaning to say or to tell. And you guessed it, just like bere, it comes from a longer Latin original, dicere. And knowing that helps explain some of its weirdness. Okay, let's look at how this one works. We have io dico, tu dici, lui dice, noi diciamo, loro dicono. All pretty standard, right? But then we get to voi. Aha, it's dite. This is the one true oddball you have to lock into your memory. It doesn't follow the pattern, it's just dite. That's the one that trips everyone up, so really pay attention to it. So what is the big difference between dire and parlare? It's actually pretty simple. You use dire when you're reporting the content, what is being said. Look at the example. Lui dice che ha fame. He says that he's hungry. You're reporting his words. But you use parlare to talk about the general act of speaking. Lui parla con sua madre. He is talking with his mother. We don't know what he's saying, just that he's talking. That's the key difference. And here's another great example to make it crystal clear. Il nonno dice sempre che è stanco. Grandpa always says that he's tired. We're reporting what he says, right? So we have to use dice. All right, time for our last verb. And honestly, we've saved the best, or at least the most useful, for last. Let's talk about fare. This could easily be the most important verb in all of Italian. So at its core, fare means to do or to make. But that's just the beginning. It's known as the jolly verb, which is a fun way of saying it's a verb that can do pretty much anything. Think of it like the word get in English. It's a real multi-tool you can use in tons of different situations. And this is where you really see what I mean. In Italian, you don't have breakfast, you do breakfast, fare colazione. You don't take a shower, you do a shower. Fare una doccia. It's even used for the weather. Fa freddo literally means it does cold. Once you get the hang of fare, you unlock hundreds of phrases you'll hear every single day. Okay, let's look at the conjugation. The two you really need to focus on are the first-person forms, io faccio and noi facciamo. Those are totally unique. But now, check out the others. Fai, fa, fanno. Do they look a little familiar? They should. They look just like the verb avere, but with an F in front. It's another one of those hidden patterns. And here's a conversation you'll probably have a million times. Cosa fai stasera? What are you doing tonight? Non faccio niente di speciale. I'm not doing anything special. See? It's absolutely essential for just basic everyday chat. All right, we've looked at all three verbs one by one. Now let's put it all together. We're going to see them in action in a little story about a guy named Matteo who's in London on a business trip. So meet Matteo. He tells us, Mi chiamo Matteo, sono italiano di Genova. Ora sono a Londra per affari. He says he's from Genoa and he's in London for business. But here's the problem. Non parlo ancora bene l'inglese. He doesn't speak English well yet. So, what does he do? Well, he explains, for communicate, faccio gesti. To communicate, I make gestures. There's our fare. Then, se ho sete, bevo una birra. If I'm thirsty, I drink a beer. There's bere. And finally, he says he's going back to Milan because he has molte cose da fare. Many things to do. And there's fare again. Perfect, real-world examples. So there you go. You now have the secret code to using fere, bere, and dire. They're not so random after all, are they? So I have a question for you using our new favorite verb. Cosa fai dopo questo explainer? What are you doing after this? Hopefully you'll go out and practice. Thanks so much for joining me.